Hello, my name is Şansal. I'm from Turkey, and I've been here for last 3 years. There are some challenges moving out of the country, and I think the biggest one for me was being away from my family and friends and missing so many important milestones with my friends and family members, and missing out those important moments and some challenges that they're going through being far away from them. But I also have very good moments, good achievements in this 3 year. I'm finishing my master's in sociology, and I will start my PhD in January, and that's just extremely making me happy. I also had built a very nice community, facilitate some amazing discussions and conversations, organize workshops, and even create a small exhibition. So it's a nice journey. I had a very great opportunity to receive a Lovens Library Fellowship, which was giving me basically great resources to support to build a exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
And through that archives I find a very great craft books that are 13 volume of basically collages, and when we say craft book, it's collage book. It's one person's in England, a trans woman, Adele Anderson's, who's an opera singer and cabaret singer, great person, still alive, and she had this 13 volume of scrapbooks that she collected all the news articles, newspapers that was about LGBTQ population, and because it was through 70s, 80s majorly, it was very depressing. That news is we're portraying LGBTQ people in such a negative way. And right now we also still hear, even in Canada, LGBTQ voices with questioning and not acceptance or inclusion, but with rhetoric of, do you belong here, or what about this fear, or what about that white fear, or that gay panic, or that things, or all the intersectionalities of this exclusionary language. And the scrapbooks were very meaningful to me because it resonates the ongoing rhetoric in here. It resonates very concerning rhetoric in Turkey. So I took those scrapbooks, I took those negative newspaper articles and negative, basically ridiculing about LGBTQ people, and embroidered on them through embroidery on paper, using many threads to create my version of that. And this is not only about LGBTQ. There are newspapers about very much women's repression and different portrayal of how this women should be at home and cooking type of stereotypes. So embroidering them in a more humorful way, putting some glitter to lovely figures of the queer past, and creating a space, for example, to gives you the feeling of entering someone's private living room space, and then having all these articles embellished with embroidery hung on the wall. I think I created a nice cozy space for people who were subject of these harmful news, I want to say, in the past, and now see them as a more powerful representation of themselves in a way that okay, we can change this narrative, we can create better memories, hopeful future, more inclusion, and we can create this space for ourselves. So that was, I think, my one of my most joyful